gosh, what is up, everybody? This is your boy Malik back with another video for y'all today. And what I've got behind me is something magical, something powerful, something that you're not going to expect coming from such a large and massive vehicle. You know what I'm saying? This is the Ford Explorer ST, boys. When I tell you that there is very, very few things that can compete with the Ford Explorer ST. This is the 2020 Ford Explorer ST. This thing is completely redesigned for 2020. Um, I mean, you've got an entirely new engine choice. You've got an entirely new drivetrain that you can choose with the 2020 Explorer. Um, but this model in particular is, in my opinion, the best bang for the buck Explorer you're going to get, because there's multiple trim levels of the Ford Explorer, but in my opinion the ST is going to be the one that's going to outshine the rest of them. I mean, there's a hybrid version, there's a version that's carrying the same heart out of the Mustang EcoBoost, there's the platinum version. I mean, this one right here though is the one that's going to blow your top. I mean, if you had expectations for a Ford Explorer, you might as well get ready to raise them, because Ford has raised the quality of this car by so much that it's like, I mean, look at it. Like, if you see that thing coming behind you, I don't care if you're speeding or not, you're going to move out of the way. It doesn't matter how fast you go in the left lane. If you see that thing coming behind you, you better move out of the way, because let me tell you something. When you look at that thing, it is just like, is that a cop? Is it a monster? Is it going to transform behind me? What's going on? You know what I'm saying? 2020 Ford Explorer ST. That ST stands for Sport Technologies. I'm gonna dig in and walk around the car as I talk a little bit about the Ford Explorer ST, and we're gonna learn a few things today. Basically, you know, everybody's known the Ford Explorer to have like a Ford Explorer Sport. There's been a Sport Track, and then there's been the actual Sport. Now, I'm almost going to go out on a limb, and I'm going to say with true confidence, this car right here would probably blow the doors off the last generation Explorer Sport. Now, I know people don't like to compare the Sport and the ST, and I need somebody to make a video on that. I may be the one to make a video on that myself, but I mean, you can't really find sports around here too much anymore. I mean, the dealership that I got this vehicle from to do a video on, which is right across the street, known as Buster Miles Ford, they are the best Ford dealership in the entire Calhoun County area, in the Alabama area. I mean, that's where I bought my silver Mustang from. It's right across from a Hardee's that is no longer in business. This Ford Explorer ST, yes, it has a window sticker, but we all know that you can go online and find it for a cheaper price once you go to that particular dealer's website. You know, they have like deals and rebates and trade-in rebates and stuff like that. So, you know, there's ways to get around this vehicle's $60,000 price tag, or I'll say $59,620 price tag. But they had a Sport at that dealership, and I test drove that Sport. Yeah, it got up and it went, but I mean, I'm almost like, when I drove this car off the dealership, I was terrified, because I was like, when I touched the gas on this car, matter of fact, when I put it in drive and I had my foot on the brake, I felt the engine of this car pulling at me, and I didn't even have my foot on the gas. Like, it scared me, because I was like, when I took my foot off the brake, it's something, you know how cars, when you take your foot off the brake, they pull along? Well, this car almost accelerated along. It didn't just pull along. Like, this vehicle, when I tell you, you see those four exhaust pipes on that thing, you see that big, meaty, angry grille, you see that ST badge, you know that this vehicle has power beyond what people would look at it and say, oh, it's just the SUV. No, this vehicle's got some power. It's all-wheel drive. And speaking of which, when it comes to drive, the 2020 Explorer across the entire lineup is rear-wheel drive based now. It's no longer front-wheel drive. So that right there, I mean, imagine doing donuts in a Ford Explorer. I mean, you can do that in a Ford Explorer, but this one right here is all-wheel drive. So you've got all this power, you got all this torque, you got those turbochargers Ford knew that you can't take something like that and put it on a rear-wheel drive. Doesn't matter how big the vehicle is, you don't want to put it on front-wheel drive because you're going to get torque steer so hard, you're going to drive directly into the vehicle that's in the next lane to you if you punch it trying to pass them. You've got 400 horsepower and 415 pound-feet of torque. I keep saying horsepower, horsepower, horsepower because this is not an ordinary vehicle. This is not an ordinary Explorer. So I'm going to go ahead and dig in and talk about a lot of the things this vehicle has. For 2020, the Explorer's headlights have been redesigned. The whole vehicle has been redesigned. But you get these, they're not projector beam, but they're LED. So your headlights are LED. You get this daytime running strip that goes across the entire top, and it does not matter how hard I try to focus on that, it will not. It's like that. It's a blue hue that a camera cannot pick up on. But when you see it driving in person, it's just like, oh my gosh, that thing is beautiful. And then your turn signal sits directly under the daytime running strip. So here's your daytime running strip right across here, and then there's your turn signal, they're LED. And then here you have your fog lights. Yes, your fog lights are also LED. And then, you know, we got those famous active grille shutters hidden back there, and they are massive. Like, look, I mean, that's a pretty big radiator too. I mean, you've got this big engine, you've got to cool it off. And you see these little circles right here on the front and across the side. Those are going to be your, I guess you could say, proximity sensors or position sensors, or like, I guess you could say parking sensors. So they're all across the front. You see those because with a vehicle this big, I mean, it doesn't look that big on the outside, but when you sit inside this thing, it's pretty big. You've got pillars and mirrors that fold in and stuff. You've got to be able to see around that. And when you've got a vehicle with this much technology and with this price tag, you get things like front cameras, and then the camera has a washer on it, the same washer that you find on your windshield wiper, you know, like the wiper fluid and stuff like that. It uses the wiper fluid system to pump wiper fluid on this in the event that it gets dirty. Because I mean, at the end of the day, this thing's got a lot of horsepower and torque, but it's an SUV, so yes, you can take it off road if you like to. If you take it off road, you're going to get dirt and mud and dust and grass and stuff all on the camera, and you don't want to be just like beating up against the lens with a rag, or, you know, hitting, because you could damage the camera. So Ford has implemented a washer system to wash that camera off, and I will demonstrate how that works here in a moment. And it's the same thing on the other side. You know, you've got your marker lights and stuff like that. And if you look even closer through the fog light, you will see that there's an air inlet right here. So air goes in and it passes over the wheel and the fender. Well, that's another thing for aerodynamics. That's what I'm talking about when I say they've got, you see it, outlets about right here and right there. That's another thing I was talking about when I say the design of this vehicle is meant to stand out but also be efficient. You've got your shocks and springs back there. Let's look at this wheel gap right here. On an SUV, SUVs are not supposed to sit like extremely high, but they're not supposed to sit like extremely low. So you've definitely got a little wheel gap right there. Give you some room for suspension travel if you want to go off-road. You can put different wheels on this thing. You can make it a medium angry Explorer. It's already medium angry, but yes, if you want to get medium angry, you can get medium angry. This vehicle has all-season tires on it. Let me look and see. These are 275, 45, 21. So this thing's sitting on 21-inch rims and tires. So you've definitely got some ground clearance on this thing. I mean, look, you've got some ground clearance on this thing. Of course, with it being, you know, as fast as it is, if somebody wants to go fast in this thing, you can definitely go fast. The top speed on this, as contrary to the Explorer Sport, has been upped to 140 plus miles an hour. The Explorer Sport I test drove was limited to 120. I probably shouldn't say that, but I did say it. This thing right here, you've basically got a police interceptor if you go out and buy one of these. I mean, I will say though, you probably shouldn't run in it, but I mean, your top speed with that much power and torque, it's been upped, which means if you've got an SUV that can go that fast, they've got suspension upgrades on this Explorer that regular Explorers don't have. They've got brake upgrades, they've got coolant upgrades, exhaust upgrades, all that type of stuff. You know, you got a vehicle that can go fast, you've got to have the design to be able to make it go fast. Now, when I say redesign, I don't mean they've redesigned it so much to the point where it doesn't look like an Explorer. You can look at this car from a mile away and still tell, Ford still kept the general idea that this is an Explorer. You know, you've got that tail light, that roof line, the way the body lines curve. I mean, you can tell it's an Explorer. It's not like It's not like you look at one of those vehicles redesigned, you're like, hey, what kind of vehicle is that? That doesn't look like the last generation. That doesn't look like it's an Explorer at all. You see how people, some manufacturers, they redesign vehicles and it just doesn't look like it even holds on to its history, you know, its historical standpoint. And then on the back, you've got your reverse camera, and again, you see that wiper fluid system. They've even got it on the back camera too. And then you've got your rear windshield wiper, which also can be washed, and you see that its little outlet port is right there. Every light on this Explorer except for the rear turn signal and the reverse light is LED. I mean, there's room for modification and stuff like that. Now I want to talk about this exhaust pipe thing the Explorers have going on. Recently, Ford has had like a carbon monoxide issue going on. Everybody says the exhaust pipes on the back of the Explorer are fake. They are not fake. I'm going to go under the vehicle and show you that they are not fake. You see how if you look in there, it doesn't come straight out. There's like a little cup that goes up in every exhaust pipe. Basically, all it does is it exhausts under the vehicle. You see these holes? It exhausts under the vehicle. Oh my goodness, I got gas on my finger. So instead of, you know, when you have a vehicle, it's kind of hard to seal off like doors and stuff. And when you've got turbos pushing out exhaust faster than a regular vehicle, instead of the exhaust coming out, because I'm gonna tell you something, heat rises, exhaust is hot. So naturally, if you're sitting backed up against your carport, or you're sitting still, the exhaust is going to go out and up. In this case, they've got it where it's going out and down, and it stays going behind the vehicle. It doesn't go out and up and then, you know, go into the cracks and stuff and the seals and stuff. So that's nothing but it's a prevention system. This vehicle also has a tow package on it. So I mean, you've got that type of power and torque, you're definitely going to be able to tow, and you've got all your hookups and stuff right here, you know, to be able to tow things. And of course you want to make sure you hook on with chains and stuff like that. And then your rear reflectors, and then again there goes those, you know, parking sensors and stuff like that. And I'll also talk about how this vehicle uses those. So, you know, most vehicles you only see parking sensors on the back. The reason this car has parking sensors all around the side and all around the front is because it has the ability to park itself. So you activate its parking aid and it will basically find a parking spot by using the sensors and stuff like that. So I'm gonna go ahead and get inside this vehicle, and we are gonna see all these things in action. I'm gonna try to see if it can find a parking spot in this open parking lot, and we'll see if it can do that. See, this is the key. You remember how I said in my Ford Fusion video and in that blue Mustang video that Ford has completely updated the key to their entire lineup. You know, they used to have that big slim key. They've got this key right here, and then of course, being that it's an ST Sport Technology, you get the ST logo on the key. And another thing that comes with an ST is anytime you buy a Ford that has ST attached to it, you get to participate in the ST Driving Academy or ST Driving School or ST Octane Academy. It's different things for different vehicles. Basically, it's the same thing. It's a one-day driving experience. And I'll actually go around to the window sticker right quick, and I'll tell you exactly what it says. The window's tinted, so you're not gonna be able to see it for real. Basically, I'm gonna focus in. Basically, it is a one-day driving experience, and you can also bring a guest. You get a one-night hotel stay, a welcome dinner reception for you and a guest, a breakfast for you and a guest, a catered lunch, an exclusive ST experience for you know, you get gifts and stuff like that, and the memories that last a lifetime. Basically, Ford is basically going to teach you the capabilities and limits of this vehicle. Anytime you buy a vehicle like this, it's not an ordinary vehicle, so it's not just going to do ordinary things. I mean, people buy vehicles like this and they keep them garage kept all the time. They keep them just to treasure them. There's nothing wrong with that. But when you buy something like this, Ford says, hey, you know, we've built this, we've engineered this, we've taken the time to create something like this. We'd like you to you know, experience and learn and be a part of what this vehicle is capable of. And I mean, there's going to be high-speed driving. You're going to be going on skid pads, I'm sure. You're going to be seeing the limits of how this thing can drive, 0 to 60s and stuff like that. I mean, it's a fun day, you know, and you're going to be out there with other people. You might run into people that have Edge STs, Focus STs, you know, stuff like that, other Explorer STs, and you're going to be out there, and y'all are all going to be driving. Y'all going to be learning. You're going to be seeing the limits and capabilities. You're going to learn how to control this thing in the event that you get into a hydroplane and stuff like that. You know, you got the advanced track system, you got traction control and all that stuff. But at the end of the day, it's up to you to control this thing. I mean, you got a $60,000 vehicle. It's probably a good thing to know how to control something with so much power. Anyway, the key. So again, you've got the unlock, the lock, the remote start. You hit it twice. So you want to lock the vehicle. All right, and then you want to hit this button twice. Did I hit it twice? Oh, the key's flashing. It might not be activated to be remote started. Let's see. I don't think it's activated. I think you have to go in the settings and activate all that stuff. But we'll get into that in a minute. Oh, I hear something clicking. Oh, here's something clicking. Come on and do it. Well, you've got the key right here, and you can hit unlock, lock. You've got your remote start, and you've also got your power lift gate. So to do that, all you got to do is hit that power lift gate button twice. I'm gonna focus in on the car and the lift gate. So I hit this twice, and that lift gate pops open. Now, I will say, you are going to learn to literally be able to sing that Ford door chime, because it is all over these new Ford vehicles. It is amplified in this case. So I'm going to take this key and I'm going to hit this button again twice. So it chimes at you to let you know, hey, that tailgate's closing. You probably should stand out of the way. Also, you didn't catch that, but I want to show you. I'm going to open it again. You saw that? You saw how those mirrors open? So I open the tailgate, all right, and I'm going to close it. They fold back in. And when the tailgate closes all the way, there goes the mirrors. So those are power folding mirrors, and you can actually do that when the vehicle is on and running. Now, I'm gonna go inside and kind of work my way around around to the back, because this thing has a lot of stuff on it, and I've got to figure out how to make this video not be 2 hours long. But anyway, we're gonna unlock the vehicle. But yeah, I don't have to do that. This vehicle has smart key access system. I put the key in my pocket, and I just walk up to it and grab the door handle. You see that? And it does have a mechanical lock. So if I want to lock it, I just tap this here. And you also get that famous Ford, keypad on the side. I'm trying to focus on it. It's very glossy. But yes, you can type in the keypad and stuff. If you have like a door key code, and you don't actually have to have the key on you to use that. So you can have the key inside and just walk out. As long as you remember your code, you type it in, it will unlock the door for you. You can do that to all 4 doors. You just walk up to it, grab the door handle, and then tap that right there. It's hidden. It does have a lock logo on it right here off to the left, so you can hit that to lock the vehicle. When you grab it, like I said, it is mechanical. So you do that, you gotta open the door handle, and you are greeted with just a extremely high quality interior. I mean, this is not the day and age where you could buy a vehicle that was $40,000 and it's just filled with cheap plastic and fake leather and all that stuff. This is premium quality right here. You're not going to find anything like this in a Chevrolet. You're not going to find anything like this on a Dodge. You're not going to find anything like this on a Lexus, because if you buy a Lexus, you're going to instantly be at $70,000. But yes, you're seeing the same color tone all throughout the vehicle. Nothing that's hurting your eyes, nothing that's just like, because at the end of the day, this is basically a luxury performance SUV. So there's not too much crazy colors going on and mismatched color combinations. You see soft touch, you see the stitching, the black and the white. I love that. And then you get the B&O sound system, Bang and Olufsen, or I can't really pronounce that right. I hope I'm pronouncing that right. Bang and Olufsen audio system. So you're getting speakers everywhere. The true surround sound, the theater sound, the bass, the treble, all that stuff. You're greeted with that Ford performance right here, off in the door. Like when you open the door, it's hidden when you close it, but when you see it, you see Ford performance. Ford wants you to know that this is a performance vehicle. I mean, you bought a Ford Explorer Sport technology. You have all these different ways that you can adjust this seat, forwards and backwards and cross it. You see that right there? You see how it's rising up? So you can raise the front and lower the back, or vice versa. Or you can just go straight up You know, for people that like to sit up on the wheel, and I'm one of those people because I like to see the road ahead of me and then straight down. You can, I mean, this seat is fully powerful. I mean, there's nothing mechanical about this seat. You got your lumbar. Let's see. I think that's like a seat memory thing right there. But a lot of these things won't actually be active to the vehicle it's on. But you do have lumbar support on this seat. These are massaging seats in the front. So we will get into how that works in a minute. So if you take this thing on a long trip, your butt's going to get numb if you're driving for about 11 hours. These are some of the most comfortable seats I've ever sat in. But they do have massageable seats. And then again, there goes your trunk release button right there. And then you hit it again to close it. You can actually stop it midway, just like I did by pressing that button again. And then you push the button again, and it goes right back down. And it does lock. Your headlight controls, that's the daytime running lights, that's off, automatic, and then headlights on all the time. When your headlights are on all the time, to activate that vehicle's fog lights, you just push this button here. Of course, the vehicle has to be on, but this entire control has been updated as opposed to the previous generation that you used to, where it's a lot bigger, a lot larger. I prefer to keep my headlights on automatic because these cars have a way of handling their headlights a lot better than we do, because I see people drive at night quite frequently with their headlights off, and I also see blue lights coming behind them shortly after. Again, we have that radar and camera and rain sensing. All that stuff is, again, it's right above, right behind the mirror. This one's a lot better hidden than they were on the Fusion that I done a video on. Like, it was this big bulky box. It's a lot more slim and out of the way. I'm gonna try to focus. There's a lot of light. It's a lot more slim and out of the way in the Explorer ST. I'm gonna back this seat up because there's a lot of stuff I have to show you, and that's as far back as it goes. I'm gonna shut the door. And when I do that, the mirrors did just fold out, and you are greeted with all these beautiful Ford performance and just imagery. I love it. All right, now, if you just look at I just want y'all to take a look at the inside of this car. I mean, it's there. Now, I will say that tablet right there, they have different size screens. The lower grade Explorers, their screen is about half this size. But this one, it's a lot larger, and it's there. I mean, that is your interface for this vehicle. Not quite Tesla-like, because you do still have buttons, and I prefer it to be this way. I mean, it's so much easier to look there and see exactly what you're looking for instead of having to go through a bunch of settings and try to find the climate control and this, that, and the other. It's good to still have buttons because it reduces the amount of distraction and reduces the amount of time you have to take your eyes off the road. So I definitely commend Ford for that. I'm going to start this vehicle because it is warm in here. So you put your foot on the brake, and you just push the dash mounted button to start. And it is a little bit tucked in there, but I kind of like that. Oh, there goes that famous Ford door chime. And I can listen to that door chime all day, and you could pay me to listen to it all day. You have all these things, and you see that speed limit sign right there? Yes, the 2020 Explorer has speed limit sign recognition, either by sensor or by map. Yes. You ever notice how on the iPhone, you're driving on the road and it shows you the speed limit? Well, this vehicle can recognize the speed limit, and I'm quite sure it's going to give you an over speed limit warning. Off to the very left, we've got our tachometer and RPMs. We've got our speedometer, our trip computer, and depending on what mode you have this vehicle in, you push the drive mode button right here, it will change. So if I turn the dial to the left, I'm sure that's economy mode. If I turn it, oh no, that's normal. All right, it lags a little bit, so I'm gonna go back. Yeah, that's normal mode. I'm gonna go to the right again. Economy mode is right there. There's sport mode. Sport mode, you're gonna turn red and see racing flags. Tow and haul mode. Again, this vehicle has a tow package on it. So I'm gonna go a little bit to the left, sport. Economy mode, green, normal. Slippery, that's for rain and snow. And actually, no, that's just for like ice. I'm sure like if you're driving on ice. Trail mode, that's that off-road mode. You're going off-road. That did just turn the traction control system off. I'm going to turn to the left one more time. And then you see deep snow and sand. That's what that, I mean, if you live in a place that has, again, you've got that four-wheel drive, you can optimize this system. And when you change it, your entire screen changes. This is a screen. Nothing right here is mechanical. I mean, I like that. I mean, everything is going, you know how, cars, when they get to be about 20 years old, 30 years old, 15 years old, their tachometers and their speedometer motors and stuff like that. You're driving down the road and your tachometer and speedometer is reading 0. Yeah, those days are just about over with, and Ford is getting ahead of the game. I will turn traction control back on. Traction control off, traction control is on. Again, I'm going to go back to normal mode, so I'm going to twist it to the right now. Slippery, normal, economy, sport, tow haul. I went right past normal. That was the goal, is to get back to normal. But yeah, it does change. Now again, you see the brake indication in the bottom right. That is the electronic parking brake. I strongly encourage you to use that every time you park, regardless of if you're on a hill, flat land, whatever. Because the way that automatic transmissions do when you put them in park and they bounce back and forth, and then when you take it out of gear and it just clunk, 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 that's not good for your transmission. Again, you want to, if you're in drive, okay, you want to engage the brake first, let it grab, and then put it in park. You don't want to, put it in park, let your foot off the brake, and it bounce, and then engage the brake. You've defeated the entire purpose of using the brake. That's just one of my OCD disorders that I have that I probably need to go get checked out, but it's all right. Again, you see this button right here? I'm going to start with this because there's a lot going on right here. This has changed. This is a little bit different than what we're used to seeing on the Ford steering wheels. That has changed a little bit, but it's all the same purpose. This vehicle has the adaptive cruise control, the lane departure, the forward collision assist and prevention. All of these things to keep you safe, keep you out of trouble, and we'll go into detail about that here in a minute. We're going to start from the very left. You have your heated seats, and that's for the driver, and this is for the passenger on this side. It's multiple levels of heated seats. For the driver, you get an additional button because you're special. You are the one that's in control of this vehicle. You get one right here in the middle, whereas the passenger does not, because they don't have a steering wheel on that side. That's your heated steering wheel. You do have a heated steering wheel in this vehicle, and when you pair it to Ford Pass and you remote start it and it senses, it's using, if you have it set to automatically, if you have this vehicle set to automatically set your climate control when you remote start it, depending on how cold it is outside, you're going to walk in here and you're going to touch this steering wheel and feel like you're grabbing a warm oven mitt. Not hot. It's just going to keep them hands warm. It's all focused on the driver. It's very important. And then you also have cooled seats. The driver and passenger have cooled seats. Your climate control for the driver, this is dual zone climate. Until somebody on this side touches it, it will sync. So when you're moving this, the right side moves as well. But then when they move it, it desyncs. Now, to sync it back on here, let me see here. There's a way that you can sync this back. You know what? I'll figure that out soon. I'm sure you just turn it off and turn it back on. Yeah, so when you turn it off and turn it back on, it resyncs back up. I'm figuring things. I'm learning about this vehicle as I'm showing y'all. Max defrost. So when you hit max defrost, that's going to literally turn your heat on as high as it can go and as high as it can go. And normally when you hit that button, it also turns on the rear defrost as well. I do not want to burn up in here. So I'm going to knock that back down. And I'm going to put, anytime you touch the climate control, you're going to see the ability to control it on the screen as well. Like I said, it's a little bit different. You don't actually get a climate control button on here, but you do still get the ability to control certain things of the climate control on this interface right here. Your map is going to show up on the top part of the screen until you hit navigation, and when you hit navigation, it shows up on the full part of the screen. So your full screen is navigation. You can hit search. Maybe my fingers got something on it. And you see it's got a little bit of a lag to it, but again, this is new. Ford's doing something new. Let's just type in something right quick. There's food. We'll just find a food restaurant. It's searching for food. All these things here, you can set your home up, set your work up. Again, if I want to go to McDonald's, I just hit start.
Obey traffic laws, be alert, and use voice commands while driving.
Exactly. Minimize
Please proceed
distractions.
to the highlighted route, and then the route guidance will start.
And then the route guidance will start. So, you know, and I can hit
off route.
Yeah, so right now we're not on the route. I can hit home, all these things here. You know, you can go to menu and hit start and all that stuff. So right now we're not on an actual route anymore. We're off the route. Voice commands help a lot. So I can hit this button right here on the steering wheel, and this is the bottom left on the right side.
Please say a command.
Cancel route.
Canceling route.
So right now we're no longer on the route, and you, instead of typing it in, you can type like,
please say a command.
Navigate to Bojangles.
Please say a line number.
1.
When ready, press the voice button and then say set as destination or dial the number.
Again, I can hit that start right there. Again, driver focus, safety, and it's going to tell you this every time you start driving.
Then the route guidance will start.
And then I'm going to hit cancel because we're not going anywhere right now.
Please say a command.
Cancel route.
Canceling route.
This voice command system Ford has, you can call people, you can text people. I mean, you plug your phone in, you've got Apple CarPlay, you've got all these things. And it's good to have that at your hand. I mean, there's the days of mounting a GPS to your screen and having to stare at ugly wires. That's over with. I mean, you've got an Explorer here that's got all this stuff integrated in this screen right here. A lot of people ask what that button is. That's your climate control recirculation. So it's the same idea as the air conditioner in your house. You're pulling it through a filter and it's repeatedly coming out of your vents, and pulling it through a filter and repeatedly coming out of your vents. But if you uncheck that and that light goes off, you're now pulling in more fresh air than you are cabin air. So it's kind of like if it starts feeling stuffy in here, or if somebody's like vaping or smoking in here and you want fresh air but you don't want to let down the windows, you just uncheck that right there, because if not, you're going to continue to recirculate the air in here. Like, you know, people pass gas on long trips, so you get a little fresh air in there and it's 20 degrees, you don't want to crack the window, you just uncheck that right there and you've got outside air coming in. You do also have rear climate control. I will hop in the back and show you how all that works. Of course, your fan speed up and down. Well, again, when you touch anything here, you're going to see it pop up on the screen right there. You know, not a lot going on here. You've got your, oh wow, my Fusion didn't have a CD player either. Yeah, CD players, that's over with. Those days of having CD players, I am so sorry to inform you guys, but CDs, that's a I guess you can say an antique. Those days are over with. You've got Bluetooth, you've got satellite radio, all that stuff. So again, you can hit sources at the top left. I'm gonna turn this down because I don't want to be interrupted. You get Sirius XM on this vehicle. Anytime you buy a Ford vehicle, you do get like a trial subscription for a limited amount of time, and then you can continue it. You can set alerts when certain songs come on. You can directly tune to different stations, and you know, you've got all these. It's going to give you like suggestions, NFL radio. Yeah, so like if you want to keep up on a game that's going on or something like that while you're driving down the road, that's good to have too. And of course, when you put on your phone, when you select it, when you pair your phone to it, it will say like your device's name off to the left right here. And of course, if you want to go back home, you can just go hit home right there. Like I said, I just went through navigation, your apps. Again, you can add a device, find mobile apps. You got a Sirius XM travel link. You can go to, it's going to give you like live traffic updates, weather alerts, sports info, ski conditions, fuel prices. You know, we're all pretty darn good at choosing a gas station that's a couple cents less. But now you've got a little bit of help instead of having to drive around in circles trying to find a gas station. 911 assist, driver assistance. Now, I mean, instead of controlling all of that from the steering wheel, you can now control all of that through this interface right here. So your cruise control, that's that adaptive cruise control. What is adaptive cruise control? That's basically, as you can see right there on the screen, if you're driving behind a vehicle on the interstate and your cruise control is set at 80 and they merge in front of you, well, these sensors right here are going to see that vehicle in front of you, and they're going to slow down and keep a set distance. This vehicle is going to slow down and keep a set distance. So you got intelligent, and then you can go to tolerance and stuff like that. So you can set like plus or minus 1 mile an hour. I'm gonna put it back on adaptive because I want everything to be default when I, drive back across the street. But you can set a distance on how far you want to be, and again, you would do that from here. So you push that button on the left. Of course, I'd have to have cruise control on, and I don't have it on. So I'll hit, I just tap this button right here and I activate it. When I activate it, it popped up in the center right there. And then from that point on, I can set the distance on how far. You see how the bars are going away and they're coming back. So if I want more distance or less distance, it's all customizable on how you want it. So each time I hit that button, I can set further or closer away from the vehicle in front of me. And then you have your lane departure system right there. So that's off and then that's on. You want that to be on. So it's watching the road for you. And then of course, if you want to disable it, you just hit the X right there. And that turns off the cruise control all the way, but it still keeps on that, forward collision alert and stuff like that. That's to cancel though. That's not to turn it off. If you want to turn it off, you push this button right here and you have completely disabled, the cruise control. And of course, to set it, you can go down to set, up to set, or press the actual button and hit resume. So if you had a speed that was set, say you were doing 75 or 80. Well, if you're doing 50 because somebody merged in front of you, all you got to do is hit resume and it will gradually accelerate you to the speed you had it set at. Your lane keeping system. Again, you want to have it set to aid you and alert you. So you don't want it to just like, hey, you don't want it to just aid you. You want it to alert you and aid you, because a lot of times if somebody just feels their steering wheel veer, they think, oh, maybe I hit a bump in the road. But if you see it on the screen and it says alert and aid, well, it's like, hey, well, I'm drifting out of the lane. I'm not running over a bump or anything like that. And of course, you can go in and set the sensitivity on how you want it. So when I did that, the steering wheel just vibrated. So watch this. I'm gonna watch this. It just, you heard that? So it's going to vibrate and it's going to, it's going to let you know that you are pushing your limits of, getting out of your lane. Your pre-collision assist right here, warning, braking, steering, distance indication. That's basically evasive steering. And this vehicle has evasive steering. My Ford Fusion that I done a video on does not have evasive steering. So in this case, it has been upped. Basically, if you're about to hit something, instead of it trying to brake behind that vehicle, it's going to steer around it. It's going to veer off around it, and it's going to use those sensors to make sure it's not going to hit something else. Again, you can hit the alert sensitivity. You want that to be as high as it can go because you don't want to crash into somebody. Traffic sign recognition. I was just talking about that. You can set speed warnings, tolerance. And when it says tolerance, that means, a certain, basically it's only going to let you go 5 miles over the limit. And this is all about ticket avoidance. I mean, the days of driving unrecognizable, the only thing you're missing is a radar detector. And I'm sure there's going to be a point in time where they put that inside a vehicle. Again, like I said, that tolerance, you can go plus or minus 5 miles an hour, 2 miles an hour, nothing at all. Rear view camera. Rear camera delay is basically, I can put this thing in reverse, take the brake off. I've got the camera on me and I'm driving backwards, but I can actually put the vehicle in drive and drive forward and the camera will still be on until you hit about 10 miles an hour, and then the camera will go away. Again, I'm going to put that back on. Again, I'm going to go back to reverse. You have different viewpoints. So you can get just the rear, the entire rear, or a 360-degree version of the vehicle. And again, I wish it was full screen, but as you can see right there, there's the rear on the left side, but there's a top-down view. So if I'm backing up, and I've got the brake on right now, I'm gonna take it off. If I'm backing up and I'm moving along, I can see all on the top, on the sides. I can see what's on both sides of me, in front of me, beside me, all that stuff. So it's like a panoramic 360-degree view from the top down. There's not a helicopter flying over your head, but it does give you the illusion that there is. And then from this point here, you've got the sensor. So like, even if you're driving in reverse, you can see if you're about to hit something in the front, on the front side, on the side, on the back side, all that stuff. Back left, back right, front, all that stuff. You can see, that's when those sensors come into play. That's when I didn't put the brake on. That's when all those sensors that you saw with those circles around it on the front and side of the vehicle come into play. And again, there's kind of like an example right here, front, left, all that stuff. And when it's going to go green, orange, or yellow, and then red. Basically, when you hit the red, you're too close and you're about to hit something. And the orange, you're getting close, and the green, you're not close yet. You can go a little bit more. Blind spot information, trailer blind spot information. So if you're towing a trailer, it's going to even give you a trailer A, trailer B. You got multiple trailers you can put on this thing. Trailer lengths. So when you go in there and you hit a trailer length, you have to go in and set it up. Like, is this trailer width less than 8.2 feet and 8.2 feet in length and less than 33 feet? You select all that stuff. Basically, when somebody is approaching the back end of your trailer, I'm gonna hit none. It's gonna basically show you on the mirror. So there's a blind spot indication right here on the mirror. Like, once they get to the back end of your trailer, it's going to tell you, hey, look, you got somebody in your trailer's blind spot. It's another one of those things that's helping you see where you can't see. Reverse brake assist. If you're about to back up and hit something and you don't stop, well, it's going to stop for you. The driver alert, again, that's that cup of coffee that pops up when you are when you're like braking short and you're drifting out of your lane too much, and you've drifted out of your lane too many times in a given time. It's going to pop up on the screen and say, hey, rest is suggested, with a cup of coffee with steam coming out of it. And again, you know, you've got trailer sway. That's trailer sway control. You want to make sure all that stuff is on, because, you know, the cross traffic alert and stuff like that, if you're backing up without a trailer and a vehicle is coming down the aisle that you're backing out of, it's going to pop up with your blind spot system and those sensors on the back and the side of the vehicle and say, hey, a vehicle is coming from the right, vehicle coming from the left. You don't see it yet because you've pulled in forward in a parking spot. You're backing out of a parking spot. They're not close enough to where you can see them in the camera, but the vehicle sensors are sensing, hey, there's the waves of sound that's being bounced up against that vehicle are getting shorter and shorter and shorter. So therefore, there's a vehicle coming and you don't see it yet. So I'm going to help you out and say, you know, there's vehicle coming from right, vehicle coming from left. Again, you know, all this stuff right here that helps you drive safer and avoid hitting something. You can go in and control like your sound. That's going to be like your bass, your treble, your mid, your range, your speed compensated volume, your sound mode. You can go in and hit surround sound or hit stereo. And again, if you want to reset to default and start over, you just hit the reset all button, so it goes back to the vehicle's default settings. Your general is going to be, you know, that's your language, your sing. Like, if you don't want it to beep when you touch a button, you can turn that off. Your tire pressure units, if y'all have different units where you live at, you know, KPA, BAR, stuff like that. Measurement in miles, that's going to be miles per gallon, miles per hour, kilometers an hour, all that stuff. You know, it's highly customizable. You can change the vehicle's language. I mean, you can do with this vehicle what you want to. I will say there is a little bit of a lag in there. You saw how I touched that about 5 seconds ago. But, you know, it's all in development. It's going to update itself. You do have ambient lighting in this vehicle. So at nighttime, you know, if you're getting sleepy, you can go in and hit that button and you can control what color lights you want to happen on the inside of the vehicle. And you can actually brighten and dim that if you want to. You just select the color. I want to hit blue, for instance, and you see there's, you know, you can't really see that. Let's try to focus. You can see like blue. It's going to go all under the dash and on the sides and stuff like that. I think they're even in the cup holders too. So you see that little ring right there, that lights up blue. It lights up blue in various places. I'm going to focus back in. As you can see, I am a diehard Ford person. Your auto start stop button, I mean, that's like when you come to a stop, it does turn the engine off. You have your parking aid. You hit that button right there, and basically it says it's scanning. Now you can scan, like if you're trying to parallel park, you drive along cars on the side of the street, and as soon as it finds an open parking spot, you just follow the directions. It's going to tell you to put it in drive, put it in park, you know, take your foot off the brake. It might do all that for you. We'll find out here shortly. But it does all that stuff for you, and I will turn it off just because it's not active right now. And if you push that button again, it changes. So let's say you're not parallel parking, you're going down a Walmart parking lot. Again, you hit it once, that's the parallel park. Hit it twice, That's to park, I guess, I don't want to say perpendicular, but you know how when you're going down a parking lot at like a Walmart or a supermarket or Best Buy or something like that, yes, it will find a parking spot in that order. Select side, use turn signal. So basically, if you want to park on the left side, you hit the left turn signal. So when I hit the left turn signal, it's going to say, hey, I'm going to park on the left side. You hit the right turn signal, you're parking on the right side. Again, that's for like, parallel park, and you just hit that turn signal, and it will say, hey, and if any given time, you can turn it off by hitting that X right there. That's just about it. You do have valet mode, so you can restrict. It is pin activated, so you enter a pin and it limits the top speed, it limits all the things, nobody can just floor your vehicle and take off. Their goal is to park your vehicle, and if they can't respect it, put them in valet mode. Your seats, that's those massaging seats I was talking about. Yes, it is driver and passenger activated. So the driver and passenger have massaging seats. So I am going to hit the massage button for the passenger. That way maybe we can see things moving around. Like I said, there is just a little delay on this screen, but it's all good. It's technology. Oh, it disappeared. Maybe it had to massage. Oh wow, I can see that seat moving. Well, there's nobody sitting there. That's why it's not working. I'm gonna go to the driver now, and I just had it to do that a second ago. Oh wow, there it goes. Oh my goodness, I feel something poking me. Be careful what you're doing back there, Ford Explorer. You're touching stuff back there. It's a little sensitive back there. You know what I'm saying? And I mean, you can go in and hit lower rolling, upper rolling, circular cushion, and it's going all around your butt. It's touching your butt. It's doing all that stuff for you. Full recovery. That's the entire seat. I mean, that's the rolling, the back, the bottom, relaxed recovery, and you can change the intensity. You can turn it off, medium, low, and it actually is like rolling your butt. It's like having a biscuit roller across your tail. And again, you can turn it off. I'm gonna go back now. Again, there's your Ford Pass Connect automatic updates. Again, you see how it's lagging. Ford's going to come out with updates that's going to get rid of all that lagging and stuff. And mobile apps, you plug it in, you got Apple CarPlay and stuff like that, your Bluetooth. This vehicle has 4G Wi-Fi, voice control, advanced mode, phone confirmation, voice command list. You can go in and put all that stuff on there. So if you hit voice control and hit information, it helps you to start speaking sooner. It's some stuff you really don't need to change. But again, if you want to just jump straight to something, there's assistance, vehicle, connectivity, all that stuff. That's it for that screen right there, and that's all for you. That's going to be your park assist. So you can have that on, you can have that off. It's very advanced. And it's changed. I mean, like I said, this looks nothing like the previous generation Explorer on the inside. Oh, let's look above our heads. We've got a panoramic roof, if you know what I'm saying. That entire roof, it's kind of hard to see because it's black, but I'm going to show you that right quick. So basically, if you want to just open the shade and see outside, you would hit that button right there. The first time you hit it, it's going to stop at exactly the point of which a regular sunroof would stop at. If you hit it a second time, now everybody in the back can see out. And it rolls on back. So now you've got an entire sunroof. Now I will say this is the sunroof right here. That's the panoramic moonroof. So that part does not actually open. And I'm sure that's a good thing, because if you've got kids and one of them decides, hey, I'm going to take my seatbelt off and I'm going to stand up and just lean out the window, woo, rodeo, I don't think that's too safe. And if you want to open the sunroof, it does the exact same thing. So you will hit the button to the left now. So the right button, that just opens it so you can see out. The left button opens the sunroof. And it just quietly opens, and you got a wind deflector right here, so it kind of deflects the direction of the wind coming in. And if you hit it again, well, there is no hit it again. Actually, yes, there is. It goes back even further. But if you hit the forward button, it closes, But you know how you see vehicles driving down the road and it looks like they have a spoiler on the top of their vehicle? Well, if you hit it again, it tilts up. So that gives you that tilt look on the outside. Yeah, it gives you that tilt look. So now you see how it's kind of tilted up. It doesn't tilt up like really far, but you can still see, hey, that's a mean looking Explorer ST right there. That sunroof open. Passenger airbag indications, your LED lighting, that's for the left side, this is for the right side, and if you hit this, this is all the lights on the entire inside, on the side. It doesn't look that bright, but at nighttime, you have to understand, LEDs are very, very bright, and anybody in the vehicle can turn their light on. So if they go and they hit this button right here, that turns on the light for them. I just accidentally hit the accelerator. I didn't know what was going on. And again, if you can have it to where when you open the door, the lights, wait a minute, let me hit that back. Yeah, you can have it to where when you open the door, the lights do not come on the inside. I don't know why you do that. I'd like my lights to come on the inside. And that's pretty much it. You've got your glasses to put your glasses or things that you don't want your significant other to see. Your garage door, universal garage door programmer. You open this right here, you get LED lights. Most vehicles, they have those very halfway bright lights. And this right here is actually a microphone. So if you're talking, it will, if you're talking to someone on the phone, it's kind of listening to you, and you can actually hear that thing pretty good through the other person on the phone. And that's pretty much it for this thing. When I talked about you can fold the mirrors while the vehicle is on, that's the button all the way to the left. So you hit that. Say you're going through a car wash or you're going through a tight space, you just push that button right there and both mirrors fold in. You push it again, they fold right back out. They fold right back out. Your window locks, so that does not lock your passenger's window, I don't believe. But it does lock the rear windows. This right here, the button to the left, is going to control, oh, he's got a dash camera in his truck. But this right here, this button is going to control your mirror adjustment. So like, you know, you can change up, down, you know, you can change the direction of the mirror and stuff like that. You do have 3 memory seats. So what that means is every person has a different seating position. If you've got 3 people that drive this thing, you can program the seat. And there is a way that you can do that. You just push this one right here. It's a way that you can do it. It's in the manual on how to do it. I really don't want to mess with it because this is not mine. I don't want to mess up something from somebody. You know, they have to go in and unprogram it and then reprogram it. I'll leave that alone. It's a way to do it. You do have the ability to disable that lane keeping system. So you push this button on the side of the steering wheel. Like I said, it goes away. So if you don't want the lane keeping system on, you can turn that off. The miles per gallon of this thing sits around 20. So for a 400 horsepower twin turbocharged 3-liter V6, that's pretty darn good. The RPMs at idle sit pretty low on this vehicle. It's just like barely just humming along. But when you unleash this thing, you are breathing a fire-breathing dragon when you unleash this thing. So be mindful of that. When you dig your foot in the accelerator, you're gonna get what you asked for. If you look right here, you have a bunch of storage compartments. So you push that button right there, you've got a cigarette lighter / charging port to put in like a GPS or a radar detector, a regular USB charging port, and then an updated like USB 2.0. But it doesn't seem like you have a lot of charging ports in this vehicle, but you know, you can open that up. Now, it is a Confusion. And I'm not talking about a Ford Fusion. It is a Confusion. I'm trying to do this with one hand, and it's just not working out. It is a little Confusion where people think you hit that right there to lift it up. No, that's for the wire to go through because you don't want to close it on the wire. That you push this button right here to actually pull that up. That's where you put your wire so it doesn't get smashed in there and all dinged up. You do have a wireless charger. Now for iPhones, you're gonna have to rotate your phone to where the speaker for where you put it to your ear is on this side, the charger. So if you put it on there and it doesn't work, you put the back end faced up against it. Just flip it around like you want to rotate it the other side. And then your home button, or like if you still have a home button, because I know a lot of us have we're just so special, we don't have home buttons. I still have a home button. I'm still repping the home button. That home button is going to sit right here. So the battery actual charger for the iPhone is kind of like on that side. And then if you lift this up, You've got another cigarette lighter right there, and you can remove this, and oh wow, they've got, I'm gonna fix that, that's bothering me. You've got a little light right there, so that is the first time I have ever seen a light in a armrest for a vehicle. I'm gonna put that back, you know, a little bit of storage space. If you see the seats in this thing, they are, I mean, it's subtle. It's like, hey, I'm an Explorer ST, don't forget, but I don't want to like blast it in your face, so I'm not going to put a crazy ST color. I'm just going to silently put an ST badge right there. Your seat belts are adjustable up and down. Your passengers do have an oh crap handle. They're going to need it because this thing is pretty darn quick. And it's hard to keep your foot out of the accelerator or something like this, especially when you hear those turbochargers spooling up in this car. Get out and go to the back. Now, I want to talk about this too. You pull it once, and you pull it twice. This is the hood opener, so it's kind of like eliminating the days of having to dig around looking for that little hood latch. So you pull it once and pull it twice, and all you got to do is open it. You don't have to come around and, oh my, wow, it smells so good up under here. The only downside of this is you don't have shocks on it. You know that hydraulic hood lift? But yeah, that's that beautiful 3-liter V6 just purring along so quietly and efficiently, and just, you know, waiting for you to unleash it so it can act a fool. Yeah, that's a motor right there, guys. And this little brace right here, you see a lot of braces on vehicles nowadays, because when you have something with so much horsepower as this, I don't want to slam it, I'm so scared, please forgive me. When you have something with this much horsepower and torque, when you mash the accelerator, the vehicle does this, and it's kind of unstable. And then when you put all that power towards the drivetrain, it can kind of twitch the drivetrain a little bit. So you put that brace right there, and it's stable. It's keeping it stable from pushing up against itself. Kind of keep the, it's like, especially when you're going around corners, it can twitch the frame a little bit. They put that bar right there, and it keeps it a lot more stable. I'm gonna go to the back. Now, the back, there is no compromise on the back either. Now, I'll say this too. This is what I love right here. I'm gonna start, this is my favorite feature. The days of having to put in a baby on board privacy screen or keep the sun out of your passengers, aside from the fact that the windows in the back are tinted dark from the factory. But if you want more privacy, you just raise that up right there. I wouldn't even put more tint right there. I just leave that up. But yes, the windows are locked right now. So again, you're locking your passengers out of the window. Things like this are what stand out to me. The days of just like, you know, you step in, you're gonna rub right up against that right there. It's easy to just wipe that off. Instead of having carpet immediately right here, where you would be like, hey, I'm gonna rub my feet. You know, people step in, they don't realize that it's like, it gets in the carpet and it's hard to get out. So that's kind of like a all-weather mat right there. All-weather plastic place right there for people, you know, when you first get in, you can kind of wipe your feet off on that if you want to. And then when you get ready to wipe it off, you just wipe it off. I like how they keep, you know, back in the day, they used to put like a whole bunch of carpet and stuff right there. I didn't like that on the, you know, other SUVs. But anyway, you get in. These are kind of like cabin cockpit seats. And yes, you hit this button. Well, I probably should have folded the armrest first. Now, that's just a spring, so. And that allows you to pull the seat forward to get in now. All right, your vents are actually up here as opposed to down here. So it's a little bit more easier for the air to circulate all around the inside of the vehicle. Like I said, any passenger can just reach up and push that button right there. And as you can see, there's that panoramic sunroof. You see the beautiful skies all here in the back. Now your climate control in the back. I mean, yes, you do have floor vents, and you do have heated seats in the back. What? Yes, you have heated seats in the back. They are not cooled though, so I mean, hey, that's all right though. You can control your air conditioner in the back differently than it's being controlled in the front. So if they're hot up there and you're cold back here, you just do your thing back here. So long as they have it where you can, if that button right there that says rear, so long as they have that button pressed, you can do it differently than them. I mean, you can go as high as you want to. You can turn it completely off. Just the face and the floor, all that stuff. Here goes another charging port. So again, you get two additional. You get the regular USB and then the USB 2.0 charging port right there. You get an actual AC power outlet right here to plug in. So like, I mean, it's almost like you can plug a surge protector right there. I wouldn't, but you can. And you can plug in actual power boxes. So if you got 1, 2, 3, 4 people sitting back here, well, you've only got, well, I mean, let's be realistic. You've only got 1, 2 that people can use. So you can plug in like a power strip right there. I probably wouldn't know because you'd be overstressing it. You've got a little extra storage compartment right there. And you've got yourself more storage right here. You got cup holders and places to put various items and a nice little armrest. And I mean, these seats are just, they are just, I don't know, they're fantastic. And then I'm going to squeeze my little tall 6-foot self back here, and I'm going to tell you exactly how I feel about these seats back here. All right, in the back of the 2024 Explorer ST, and look at my legs. They're up, okay? It's not the most comfortable place to sit, and I've got something under, oh, it's my wall. Anyway, I've got something back here. You've got long legs. This is for, if you're going to be on a road trip, you put the small kids back here, because their legs are not as long as mine. I call myself a 60-40 split. I'm not like 50-50. My legs are longer than the upper part of my body. So I would prefer to be sitting in these seats right here. Let's just be completely and totally 1005% honest. Now, these seats are comfortable. My butt's not hurting. But for a long trip, I wouldn't want to sit back here. Now, I can gladly just lay down. But I mean, if you got somebody sitting back here and, no, this is just 2 seats back here. I wouldn't want to put somebody in the middle unless you want to send them through the windshield, because there's not a seat belt right there. There's not an armrest right here, but it's okay because we don't need it. There's speakers back here. Yeah, so that's the return air right there. I had to look. That's the return air. So air's going in and it's recirculating, like I said. And if you'll look even closer, that's a vent right there. That is actually a vent. So the passengers in the very back themselves are even getting a vent. There's air blowing out of this and out of this right here. So that's going to get some air to the back of this passenger and also to the passengers all the way in the back. Cup holders and various storage compartments and hooks and stuff like that. And I'm actually going to go even further back, and you actually do get a headrest back here. So I mean, you're getting even an ability to be comfortable in these back seats. But I mean, you've probably got to be 10 years old or less, because when they hit puberty, they get big. So I'd probably put them in these seats right here. Unless just one person's gonna come back here and lay down. And yes, you do get seatbelts back here. And again, there goes those vents in the back. And yes, you can turn even the rear light on. There is a light in the rear. There's speakers and just speakers everywhere in this vehicle. So, I mean, everybody is being optimized, you know, speakers, comfort, as much as possible. I will say I would love to see them put, not necessarily these type of seats back here, but seats that were not kind of just sitting on the ground. I mean, they are kind of sitting on the ground back here. And I love how there's a pass through right here. You can just get your tail straight up and just walk on through instead of having to fold. Because a lot of SUVs, they have a seat right here too. And the only way to get in, I mean, if you ask me, it's going to be easier to get in to just come in the door and walk straight around instead of just like folding the seat down. But I mean, you do it how you want to. Ford says, hey, we're not going to make you get in through this door and have to walk around. We're going to make it where you can fold this seat down and push it forward if you'd like to. You know, it's again, there goes the old crap handle. I'm gonna flip that light off because I don't want to be responsible for this battery dying. If you look right here, you got your capless fuel door. So the days of having a fuel cap and losing a fuel cap and the string and stuff like that getting lost are over with. Again, I'm going to, you know what? Let me try something. Oh, it did it. Yeah. Key on my personnel. I got a handful of groceries and a baby in my hand and 2 whining, screaming kids that's running across the parking lot. I ain't got time to reach for keys. I'm gonna just do this right here. Whoop. Wow. You just come on with it forward. Y'all just keep showing out. I'm gonna get the tripod out and show y'all that from the other standpoint. watch this. In the back, you have all these storage compartments, hidden compartments. I mean, just ample storage space and stuff right here. Again, there's speakers. And again, you can touch this button right here. And it folds those seats down. You can fold just the left side down, just the right side down, or you can hit that button in the middle that says left plus right, and it will fold both of them down. And of course, you can hit that, and that gives you way more storage space. You know, if you're not going to utilize those back seats all the time, you have the ability to fold those seats down and fit, like, you know, boards and Christmas stuff and stuff like that back here. And you just hit that again. There's the left, one at a time, left, right. There is another power outlet back here. So yes, somebody can charge their phone. Like if y'all are tailgating, you can sit in the back and have charging ports. But of course, you can hit this button here, bring them both back up. So, I want to talk about a little bit about how this car sounds, and you're going to hear it just a little bit, you know, just a little bit. Put it in drive. I want to start off in normal mode because I think that's very fitting. I'll take the brake off. When you're driving a vehicle like this, you think to yourself, it's big. It's like it's got a lot of body roll. Not this vehicle. Yeah, I mean, this thing moves. I've got a Nissan 350Z that wants to play, so, you know, cars like that will want to challenge you. And although it's an SUV, you're gonna have those moments where you're like, I want to push this thing. I want to dig my foot into the accelerator. And right now, there's an over speed limit warning because I'm doing 55 and a 45. It's flashing at me. It does have speed limit sign detection, and it literally knows when you're going over the speed limit. The lane departure warning system right now, I'm not going to mimic the way that I tested the forward collision system in this that I did my Ford Fusion, because it operates the same exact way. It senses that you are getting too close to a vehicle and you're closing in very quickly. I'm going to warn you, and then if you don't react, I'm going to react and slam on the brakes. And if slamming on the brakes is not enough, whereas my Fusion would just slam on the brakes, this Ford Explorer ST will steer around. That's when I was saying when it would steer around you. And let's listen. So right now, I'm stopped. The engine is off, right? I take my foot off the brake. I'm gonna wait till no cars are around. The engine's off right now. I take my foot off the brake. The instant I take my foot off the brake, the engine starts back. So you can't even tell. It starts so instantly, and it's like, wow, you know. It can be a good and a bad thing. Like if you're stopped for a long time, it's good because you're not sitting there just burning gas. Oh my God! Ford Explorer ST. Now watch. All right, collision mitigation right here. You see, it just said pre-collision assist. That car was pretty far away from me and had already turned, but its tail end was not out the road yet. Mind you, I had my foot over the brake because, boy, I'd like to have this car, but I don't want to have to pay for it right now. You know what I'm saying? It's a little bit out of my price range. It's reasonably priced, though. I mean, you think about a lot of the other SUVs in this vehicle's class, you're not going to too much get anything close to what you've got right here. I mean, you've got paddle shifters. You've got paddle shifters, you've got sport mode, 2 turbos. Other vehicles, like compare this to the Kia Telluride or the Hyundai Palisade. They don't have a sport version. They don't have, I'm gonna close that, there's a little bit of wind noise. I was wondering why that was wind. Open that back up. But yeah, they don't have what this vehicle has. They don't have the ability to, you get one engine option. That's like a 3.3 liter V6. And it's naturally aspirated. You don't get, and like it's literally, what? Whoa! Hold up! I was like, why did I just let go of the wheel? It told me to keep my hands on the steering wheel. This thing is, what? It's not driving for you. It wants you to keep your hand on the wheel, but like it's literally driving more for me. Like my Ford Fusion, it does not go around turns like this does. Like, Ford, you have outdone yourself. It's telling me to keep my hands on the wheel. Don't take your hands off the wheel. It's going to help you. Like Ford does not want you to think, you know, because Ford knows when it comes to stuff like autopilot and all that stuff, it can be, what's the word? This thing is like really, really steering for me right now. But it can be accident prone. You're not going to need, you still need to be paying attention to the road. You still need to be driving. And now I've got it set right now. I'm approaching these vehicles. Like it's braking for me, because if you will look and see, I've got my cruise control set at 65, but I'm doing 52 because this Ford F-250 in front of me, or no, that's an F-150 King Ranch. It's braking. Therefore, this vehicle is braking for me. I'm not touching the brake, the gas, the steering wheel, my hands on the wheel. I mean, I'm not like not driving it because, you know, I don't want to crash it. But this car has things that, and if I want to, I can lessen the distance. I can make that. And it's crazy because it's got a picture of a Ford Fusion as the back end of the vehicle. Oh my God, those lights in the back of this thing are gorgeous. Like you're looking, if you look, like you know how the Platinums, they have that silver trim on the F-150s. I'm looking at the way the daytime running lights look on the back end of that F-150, and they are gorgeous. They're beautiful. I ain't never seen nothing like this. Like this is, wow. And I'm doing 44. My cruise control set at 65 right now. I'm gonna go back to the Ford dealership because they're probably wondering where the vehicle is. But this thing is amazing. Like I have never, matter of fact, we're not going to go to the Ford dealership yet. I'm going to do a 0 to 60 right quick. Right there, 60. Right there. Oh, wow. Oh, I'm going to go in sport mode now because I'm feeling sporty. I have never seen anything like this in my life. This thing kicked harder than my Mustang did. And it weighs half as much. Wow. You don't find too many vehicles like this. Alright, so I'm going to go back to sport mode. Check your surroundings. Make sure you're not about to get lit up by blue lights and stuff like that. So yeah, let me show you something right quick. Again, you see it flashing at me? It's flashing that, hey, there's an over speed limit warning right now. You're going just a little bit too fast and you need to tone it down or you're going to get a ticket. So I'm going to lessen my speed down to about 60. I think that's pretty reasonable. So yes. And again, it's watching the road right now. And I am literally I still got my hand on the wheel, but this vehicle is steering for me around this corner. Like, I've got my hand off the wheel right now. Watch it. You see it steering. Like, it's not steering for me, but it's helping, it's assisting, and it's keeping it in the lanes. So, you know, you've got a vehicle like this, you've got things at your fingertips. There goes the previous generation Explorer we just passed right there. He didn't know I had that, did he? He was a little shocked when I passed him. That's typically the face you're gonna get. I'm gonna take this vehicle back to the Ford dealership, do a last little walk around and wrap this video up. It scared me when it pulled. I jumped, but it kind of scared me because I was like, what? You hear that power? You hear this thing? This is not a vehicle that most people are used to. You know, they hear Explorer, they think, oh, it's a family hauler, it's a soccer mom car, it's this, it's that. And when you hit the brakes in sport mode, it's downshifting for you. Yes, it is. So, I have never drove anything like this. Like, I thought my Mustang was fast. No sir. No sir. This vehicle right here does things that I have never seen an Explorer do. And for that reason, I'm gonna park this vehicle back in its home. Or right now, this is its home, but hopefully one day one of y'all will come down here and purchase this lovely, powerful Explorer ST. I'm gonna let those turbos cool off. I'm gonna let it sit here and idle a little bit because